Tonight's monumental episode of the Sunday Night Talk Week 5 NFL edition is up and ready. I'm in a really good mood this week. Why is that? Well, because wait for it, Las Vegas Raiders win a big-time game on the road against Kansas City, division rival. That never happens. I never remember myself being in a good mood in October for football games. But I am. With me, as always, is Omar Carmona. He's on the screen. He's got thoughts on his San Francisco 49ers debacle of a game. But don't let it put you down, because we dive into a special NBA edition of the awards for the NFL Week 5. We went deep on the awards. Deep thoughts, always. Also on the show, we discuss who outshined each other, who impressed, who needs to be fired, and who needs to hope for a COVID outbreak so the season ends. All coming up right now. Week 5, me and Omar, hit the music. Okay, Sunday night, we just finished Vikings, Seahawks, another close game. With me as always, Omar Carmona. Sunday night, back on the screens. We just finished the game. Who would you rather have your heart broken by? Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, or Derek Carr?
Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr.
Or a write-in. You could write in a write-in heartbreak your heart candidate too.
Then if I'm going to write one in, I'm going to say that I'd much rather have my heart broken by Tom Brady. I mean, he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. So that'd be the one quarterback that I wouldn't want to be on, mind being on the bench, watching a fourth quarter comeback, throwing a last-second pass and having it caught. So it's definitely got to be Tom Brady.
That was a rough game because, again, for the second Sunday night in a row, we could have just skipped to the fourth quarter of this game pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing really happened.
Nothing.
Until the fourth quarter. I buried Kirk Cousins 3 different times, and then he has this great comeback drive. So we could have skipped the whole game.
Let me ask you this. Did you actually watch the Sunday night game, or did you watch the NBA Finals?
I tuned out in the NBA Finals from midway first quarter, and then went to the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter just to see the end.
Okay.
It was a dud of a game. Game 5 was the game. Game 6 was nothing but a victory lap. Did you bother watching it?
I did because I did want to see what a celebration would look like in a bubble. When nobody's there, I wanted to see all those tough guys, I wanted to see the tough looks, there's usually a sign or two being sent to a crowd. And so I wanted to see what the dynamic would be when no one's watching, but how do you pretend to celebrate when no one's watching?
Yeah, I was curious too. I was like, what are they going to do confetti-wise? What are they going to do on the video graphics-wise? And then the awards presentation too. I was like, well, I'm at least curious to see what they do with this. It was enjoyable.
If you're LeBron, do you run and you jump on the scores table like Kobe did and scream at the crowd? Or in LeBron's case, do you scream at the screens of the virtual fans? I don't know.
That would have been good.
That would have been good.
Or the Dirk. Remember when Dirk went into the locker room one year, composed himself, and then came back out? That's a move.
That's a move.
Well, I wrote this down in my notes, but why don't we just do the NBA Finals first? NBA Finals happened. First of all, the bubble, I think you have to consider it a success. They pulled it off.
100%. That was a success.
They did it. It was weird. There were some differences to it, but ultimately, I think you have to say the NBA kicked ass. They did it. They pulled off the playoffs.
They did it, and surprisingly enough, I will say it's nice to see that baseball. It seems like they've made it to the ALCS and NLCS, and there's really no major issues to report at this point. and of course the NBA made it from finishing their regular season and finishing the playoffs. They made it without a problem. Now the NFL, we're seeing some problems. We're seeing some major rescheduling, especially in the A. I don't know if you saw the news release, but the AFC basically is almost turned upside down with their scheduling from here on out. And from what I heard on that halftime report from Tarico, is that a week 18 now is definitely in play. Now, of course, I would love nothing more than an extra week of regular season football. I'm not sure my wife would, but I definitely think that NFL's they're in some dangerous waters right now.
I will agree that they are in some rough waters. However, I think they're going to navigate it no matter what. They've already shown that, we'll just have games on Tuesday now. Let's just have another week. We're not restricted to Sunday, boys.
Right.
Let's have it on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. So I think as far as if they have no bounds when it comes to scheduling, I don't see a problem with them getting this handled, getting all the games played. And then we had like a fun storyline with the false positive. That was fun.
Well, leave it to the Jets that even their testing equipment is a failure. So I mean, they're it's just it's a bad franchise. I think this is now the 5th straight week I'm going to go off on them. They had
no one wants the season canceled more than the Jets. I wouldn't be surprised if half the Jets go rolling around in the streets just to expose more NFL players so they can cancel this season.
Well, I think I saw Sam Darnold licking the door handles at Walmart, trying to get COVID. Yeah,
he's got one of those like old timey cheerleader bullhorns, and he's just sneezing into it in the city.
But as far as the Jets, the Falcons, they're teams that are already there. They're just going to be playing right from here on out for the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
How nervous are you if you're Trevor Lawrence? At some point, these college guys have got to say, like, hey, since when do they just get to choose me? Okay. Can I choose the team?
Well, but that's been done before.
Eli
Manning did that. John Elway did that. I mean,
didn't some dudes have gone to Canada as to not get – so you're right. It can be done.
John Elway went to play for the Yankees to avoid –
He threatened baseball. Who threatens baseball?
Right. But I will say this. Trevor Lawrence has to be at home thinking, look, the Falcons and Jets are pretty much done. But if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'd rather go to the Atlanta Falcons, who have a decent offense. Got Calvin Ridley at wide receiver, a veteran Julio Jones, and then to maybe sit a year and learn from Matt Ryan, who was also a former number 1 pick. I definitely think that would be a very, and then also playing in the South. I mean, he's a Clemson kid, and then, going to Atlanta, which is not too far away. I think that would be very advantageous for him. So I could see Trevor Lawrence wanting the Falcons. He wants no part of the New York Jets right now. Trust.
I agree. You want Atlanta, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
The Jets are a mess. Back to Sunday night. You know what? I thought the NBC, because I didn't have any interest in this game, I thought NBC did a great job of selling me on a 1-3 team versus a 4-0 team. I was pumped up. I was like, wait, are the Vikings? Oh, wait. Okay, I'm in. I'll go with it.
If I can say something, I don't think the Vikings are your typical 1-3, now 1-4 team. I think they're a really good football team. I still don't trust Kirk Cousins, but there's some talent there, and they pushed the Seahawks to the brink, and we'd be in overtime right now if Mike Zimmer had gone for that field goal. I don't know what he was thinking. I think it was a huge mistake. You're on the road. You're playing a 4-0 Seahawks team. You got to get the points. Russell Wilson is sitting on the other is getting ready to licking his chops at getting that ball back, and Russell Wilson's done it time and time again. So I would think, look, you got to understand, Russell Wilson's going to get the ball back. He's going to want to drive down, but at least put him in a position where the best he can do is a tie.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't put him in a position where the best he can do is now he's up, 2-3 points.
Yeah, well, do the math for me. They're up 5. They're inside the 20, I think. It's 4th and 1, 4th and short. And the decision is kick the field goal, go up by 8, or get the first down and keep running the clock. I didn't see why it was a big debate. Either the announcers were baffled too, or I don't get why they don't take points anymore. Somehow we turned the corner on taking points. Remember back in the day, it was always kick the extra point, extend the game, take the points when you can. Now we flipped it. Now it's like 4th and 4. They're like, fuck it, we're going to run the ball. I didn't agree with that either. It's like, worst case scenario, Russell Wilson has to make not 1, but 2 scoring plays, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They lost that battle today.
On that note, I'm not going to know if he was maybe not having all the faith in the world in his kicker. That could have been an issue too. But I don't know. I think you always have to go for the points in that case.
Yeah, we could be in overtime right now. They didn't go for it. And then, like what you said with the Vikings, I'm texting you throughout the game saying, can the Vikings throw Kirk Cousins in the garbage? Can Kirk Cousins leave in a nondescript car? And then he has this great comeback drive after he throws a horrible pick, and he's good again.
Absolutely.
So Kirk Cousins did not lose this game, so don't pin it on him. It was the D. Kirk Cousins had a great game.
This wasn't Kirk Cousins. He actually had a very – he's got good rhythm with Thielen and Justin Jefferson. They're 2 outstanding receivers. So, but again, I just think it was a mental mistake on Mike Zimmer's part, and got to go for the field goal next time. Yeah,
I agree. The other thing, we almost had a catch controversy. We almost got into week 5 with the catch controversy with that Seahawks touchdown, but they came back and got the touchdown afterwards anyway. Right. That would have been good for talking about for about 48 hours. And then I noticed this on the Vikings sideline. Mike Zimmer, the head coach, he was rocking the Andy Reid visor for a short time and then took it off, and then he went back to the mask.
He was.
I can't figure these sidelines out.
Well, talk to me about what game did you focus on this weekend?
Your game, my game segment. You want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, I watched my Oakland Raiders.
I love Las Vegas Raiders.
My Las Vegas Raiders be glorious against the 4-1 Kansas City Chiefs now. So let me tell you how I go through. This is my emotions now during the game. Because first I told myself, don't even watch this game. It's too much for you to watch this game in real time.
Right.
But I did watch it, and I even watch the pregame shows. I'm flipping Fox and CBS, which, by the way, what's the better pregame show, you think, CBS or Fox? Because CBS seems to be the button-down one, and Fox seems to be the one that has a little more fun.
Back when Jillian Barberie was on Fox doing the weather, she definitely had me hooked when I was a kid in college. But I will definitely say any show with Jimmy Johnson, any show with Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, they've just been working at it for so long. You know what I mean? The other crew is really great, but you can tell with the Fox crew that they've been at it for a long time with each other. When you think about it, Mike Strahan's really the new guy there. You know what I mean? And it seems like he's been there for a while. But that team of Howie, Terry, and Jimmy, they've been at it for a long time. Tony Gonzalez seems to be doing very well with them. So I definitely think it's the Fox crew, but with no disrespect to the CBS crew.
I think so, because the CBS is just going for a little bit more stay within the line show. I don't think they're boring. I think they're just going for the CBS crowd, which brings me to the CBS Sunday Night Movie later.
Ooh, was it Clueless?
Clueless is a CBS Sunday Night Movie. Last week was Old School. This week is Clueless. We could be watching Clueless right now on CBS.
No, well, yeah, I'd rather not. But
I'm convinced whoever's running CBS programming is a 45-year-old chick who is unaware of internet streaming. Here's the last thing on the Fox pregame show. They're doing, remember they used to do player interviews and it'd be a one-on-one with Aaron Andrews or Jimmy Johnson. They'd be in the same room. But now we're not in the same room. So they set it up like Aaron Andrews is looking at a Zoom screen and the player's looking at a Zoom screen too, except there's a shot of the player looking at the Zoom screen, looking at his computer, and it's lit really well. I'm like, well, is this just a big show now that we're doing Zooms? You're like, look, we're doing Zooms, but it's perfectly lit. I'm looking at a screen. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Andrews is just 10 feet away from him and the computers are just props at this point. I was like, this is all for theater at this point.
Right. It is. It really is.
It caught my eye. Okay, here's my new thing with Las Vegas. I'm still not used to calling them Las Vegas. I catch myself calling them LV a little bit. But to me, it feels like a stepdad is now living in my house. And you're like, oh, hey, what's going on? That was a fun day. Okay, I'm still getting used to this too. So now I'm calling them my stepdad Raiders.
Okay.
For at least another couple of games.
It's fair.
Yeah. But the Raiders here, first of all, they get the lead. They go up 3-0.
And hold on, with regard to your stepdad, it's Vegas, so he's the much cooler stepdad. You understand that, right?
He's a cool stepdad this week. Right. This week was the stepdad took you to an amusement park week. And you had fun. You're like, oh, all right, it's cool. The Raiders go up 3-0. They battle. They're up 16 points. At one point, when does this ever happen to the Raiders on the road? But they played well. Derek Carr's throwing deep. Here's what I like about Derek Carr when he goes up to the line, when he's calling out signals. He has a signal that goes, we're good, we're good. Like, I don't know if anyone else catches that. But where else would you say that? It'd be like, oh, this is your captain speaking. We're going to be flying into Denver, and we're good. We're good.
Don't worry, we're good. I like it.
It's good, everybody. Secondly, I forgot how much I love the Raiders away uniforms.
They're nice.
The white silver pants, they're good. I was having flashbacks to the Rich Gannon years where Carr's throwing it all around the field. They're converting. The defense is sacking Patrick Mahomes for some reason.
Well, let me ask you this. Should the Chiefs be concerned of the Raiders right now in the AFC West? Is it time to be concerned?
That game they played, yeah, definitely. They were getting pressure on Mahomes. They were converting third downs. The defense was getting off the field on third downs. Turnovers, I don't know where they pulled it from. They played great. My player on the Raiders that I'm the most nervous about is that tight end Waller. Every time he gets the ball, I'm convinced he's going to fumble it. He's traumatized. Although he had a great game.
Well, I agree with you. It was a great game. Raiders played well.
They played well, and then the KC had a little bit of a comeback on them that it did make me a little nervous that KC is down 16 and they get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in about a whole of 1 minute and 15 seconds off the clock.
But it only goes to show you this is why KC is so dangerous. The Raiders had to put up 40 points. I mean, that's not going to be easy every weekend. So I think it was a big win for the Raiders. You all, Raiders fans should be very proud of their team. I think wins like this could mean a potential regular season run that gets you into the playoffs at this point in the season. So that'd be kind of nice for the Raiders.
Yeah, big win on the road. Then I noticed Andy Reid. I've been fascinated by Andy Reid's visor for the last 4 weeks. Then I noticed what John Gruden wears. So I deemed it the Andy Reid visor versus the John Gruden cocktail napkin. John Gruden's mask is falling off his face all the time. It's barely around him. And I think I figured out Andy Reid's mask finally. I think it's stapled or fastened to the bill of his hat with like a rivet or something. I zoomed in a few times to see what was going on there. But yeah, big win for the Raiders. Couldn't be more happy for these guys. They battled. KC goes into KC. Big lead. They hang on to it. Derek Carr. And then it's bothering me a little bit that they're showing so much Derek Carr graphics that he's thrown the most touchdown passes as a Raider ever. I still refuse to believe that he's our leader in the clubhouse for all stats Raiders. I don't think he's gone to any playoff games.
No. But we'll see. I think I'm seeing good things out of the Raiders, and once they pack that beautiful stadium up, it's going to be something to watch. The game
that was big. What was your game?
The game I went with Cowboys Giants, and this game was a lot of ups and downs, but I'm going to say with mostly downs. You, Patrick, know of all people, I am not a Dallas Cowboy fan, okay? But there was a brief moment that I really felt bad for Dak Prescott. The entire offseason, a lot was being made in the media about him not getting his deal, him asking for money. And, they were saying that he wants Patrick Mahomes money. And sometimes I think the media says things like that to, in a way, vilify someone. But, he does things right. He had that Corona, that party during the pandemic in the very beginning where, he took some heat. But guess what he did? He showed up and he said, yeah, I messed up. I'm sorry about that. I got a lot to learn, and I definitely made an error. So this kid's doing everything right, and to watch him go down like that, and to watch him go down like that, and when man, you didn't get your money this year, that's terrible. So, and then a touching moment, the cameras went to Jerry Jones's owner's box, and they looked very emotional and very distraught. Their former head coach, new Giants offensive coordinator Jason Garrett was there, and he looked pretty shaken up by everything, and both teams looked pretty upset and distraught. So it was definitely a very sad game. Obviously, Cowboys get the big win. Andy Dalton comes in, the Red Rifle comes in and gets them a big win. So good for Andy Dalton. Like he's also another one of those good guys in the league. But definitely a lot of questions in Dallas this week, and especially in the future, especially this offseason. I mean, is Jerry going to try to make him some offer? Or is he just going to say, look, I know you guys love me. I love you too, but you didn't pay me when you had a chance, and this is what happened to me, so I'd rather just go somewhere else. So, but a big win for the Dallas Cowboys. And the Giants, they didn't play terrible. They had some bright spots there. Yeah, it's a weak division, and maybe we're watching two terrible teams play each other, and obviously they both looked good when they play against each other. But definitely very sad for the Dallas Cowboys, but a big win.
Yeah.
They're first in the NFC East, and I still think they should come out of that division, even with Andy Dalton. So a big 37-34 win. Let me just go through Andy's numbers. He was 9 of 11 for 111 yards, took one sack, didn't get in the end zone, but I mean he had some pretty good drives there, and I mean he got the team in the end zone, but now that he's going to spend these next few days getting, building a rapport with CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson, Zeke Elliott, of course, Dallas has to be feeling really good that it's Andy Dalton who's the backup quarterback right now.
There was 7 minutes during that Dak injury where I don't think anybody was not on their emotional edge watching that.
Right. It was
he goes down, and Romo knows instantly. You see it instantly, and he's like, "Oh, this is not good." They go to commercial, so we have to wait through the commercial, looking at him, and then it comes back, and everybody's kind of consoling him on both teams. It was really, really hard to see that for poor Dak and the team. And then compare it to the Washington LA Rams game earlier, where Alex Smith comes back in the game from that same injury 2 years earlier. And that was really rough to see too. He comes in the game, and it's just shots of his family in the stands the kids are kind of cheering, but the wife is clearly nervous that her husband is in the game, and he takes a couple sacks and he bounces right back up, thankfully. But it was the weirdest turn of emotions from that earlier game where Alex Smith comes in almost having lost his legs, and then Dak has the exact same injury or a similar one to it, and he's out of the game for indefinite. But I agree, Giants were feisty.
You may not believe this, but when on that run, I was actually watching Dak very closely while he was running. Obviously, I'm watching the TV and he's holding the ball, but I was even watching his legs, because the way Dak plays, he's an aggressive player. Most other, 85% of the other quarterbacks in the league would slide or would run right out of bounds. And Dak was trying to get some extra yardage, but I was really focused on his legs when he was running. And then I saw that happen, and I knew right away there was a huge problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're trained to look for injury now. We've become so accustomed to ankles, to head shots, head injuries, that everybody knows from a fan standpoint that this is a possibility on every play.
Right.
I'm watching that game, or I had three big moments after the Dallas game. I thought there was three big moments to be had. The first one was Derek Carr with that drive to seal off the game. He came through. Second one was Daniel Jones with the Giants. He has the drive to tie the game. He has a big moment where he comes through. And then lastly, Andy Dalton, the responding drive to get them into field goal range. Three big moments. I mean, Daniel Jones came through, but he didn't have the ball after the possession of the Cowboys. Sure. But Dalton came through. So big moments for all three of those guys. One in a losing effort, though.
Yeah. Anyway, we gotta get happy because it was a sad weekend. But anyway, let's get happy. What were your awards this week?
Okay, you want to do awards or questions? What do you want to do first?
Well, you know what? Before we get to awards, let's do some questions.
Okay, let's run through the questions.
Some questions. Come on.
Okay, here's my thought. I've been watching some playoff baseball. What about this for a rule change to the NFL? You know how the home team in baseball always bats last? What if the home team in football always kicks off? We can eliminate the coin toss. I don't know how we'll do it in the Super Bowl, but I say the home team always kicks off. Do you think that is a rule wrinkle that is dumb?
I think in the last several years we've had some major coin flip controversies. I remember when I was much younger, I think it was a Pittsburgh, Detroit. I don't know if it was a Thanksgiving one.
I think that was an overtime one, right? Yeah, I don't know how we figured out overtime. I got to think on that.
It was an overtime.
But we've had too many coin controversies.
But so I like the coin controversies. I love the coin flip controversies.
Really?
Leave the coin flip controversies, and let's we've also had situations where some guys don't want to shake another guy's hands, or they walk off before. Let's leave the coin flipping.
Okay, coin flip stays in. It's part of the. Plus, we can keep the commemorative coin if we keep it in. Okay, here's my next question. It's more of a statement of strategy. Now, my new segment is called COVID Corner. Okay. We're postponing games. Some practice facilities are shut down for safety afterwards. So it's not unreasonable to think that we may lose a team.
Right.
To say like, oh, okay, we got too many cases. You know what? You're out of you can't play anymore. So if you are down in the basement of your division, you can never give up because you never know when teams are going out of the league. So I looked up this old quote. Tell me if you remember this quote from, I think it's the early 80s, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach, John McKay. I think they lose a game and they're 4-7, and they ask him his outlook for the rest of the team. And he goes, well, I don't know. We're 4-7. A couple of plane crashes. Ne're back in the playoffs. So never give up this year, teams. You never know when the COVID is taking you out. Here's my next topic. Have you read Joe Montana's Twitter?
No.
He's surprisingly active on Twitter. He tweeted a Pepsi commercial that he did in the 80s with Dan Marino. He puts he does it and someone says like, oh, I owe you one. And Joe Montana tweets, you still owe me, Marino. The guy needs to get in front of a camera. I don't know why we're not hearing Joe Montana's thoughts on a weekly basis.
He's great. He's something else.
We need him back. He's saving kids from kidnappers. Okay, I got two NBA questions for you.
Okay.
Lakers won the title. Is this LA's title or is this LeBron's title?
Even if it was LA's title, LeBron's going to take it for himself. It's all about LeBron. It's all about LeBron James, and it's LeBron James's title.
As of right now, I am agreeing. Earlier in the week, I was LA. Here's why I agree. Number one, odd season. Mm-hmm. Number two, what foundation of LA is this team? What player was on the Lakers before LeBron came? This was a composite team. We had no home game, very little home games. So the LA base couldn't really take ownership. I say this is a LeBron title through and through. We had no sort of anchor. Even when the Miami Heat won, Dwayne Wade was previously on that Heat team. So you could say he was an anchor player previous to the trade. So I think it's LeBron's.
The best player on that floor was Anthony Davis, but it was still LeBron's title. So,
Okay, how about for the NBA season, this title, does it get a footnote, an asterisk, or a reference note at the bottom of the page? How are we scoring this finals?
If there was anything that the Lakers did to get like a competitive advantage on everyone else, I mean, we're going to hear arguments from, obviously the referees call the game a certain way to help LeBron. I don't always see that. But every team had the same problems or, advantages, disadvantages going to the bubble. So I don't think it should have an asterisk. That's not really fair to everyone else that was involved. So I'm fine with LeBron James winning his title, and it's number 4. I don't think he's going to get many after this, to be very honest with you. But we'll see what happens.
I say this title in the history books gets a reference point. You know when they put a little star by something and you have to go to the reference at the bottom of the page? Because it's not an asterisk final. Footnote is almost too much for it, but I think it needs to be noted that this was a shortened season. We had a bubble finals. We did it with the NBA lockout years back. We just sort of make a note, not diminishing it from the achievement, right, but it does need to be noted that this was a modified playoff experience. Right. And then the worst part is now we have to rehash the LeBron MJ debate again for at least another year.
I don't even think it's a debate. So let's move on that note before I get upset. Let's move on.
That'll be a whole nother show, is the LeBron MJ debate.
Right.
Okay. Ready for the awards?
Let's do it. Love the awards.
The special NBA edition awards for this week. I have four of them.
I like the theme.
Okay. NBA edition awards. My first award, I'm calling this one the John Starks Award. This goes to the 3 winless teams in the NFL: Atlanta, New York Giants, New York Jets. John Starks, notoriously streaky, 0 for 19 finals appearance, many technical fouls, many emotional outbreaks. John Starks Award to our 3 winless teams in the NFL.
They're tanking it.
I don't know if they're tanking yet, these winless teams, but they're definitely performing really bad.
Okay, I'm with you on that. It's a terrible performance, and right now at this point, like we talked about early in the show, it's definitely a race to who gets Trevor Lawrence. And again, I hope for Trevor Lawrence's sake it's not the Jets, because that franchise is going to ruin him. Interesting note about the Jets. I've heard rumors that they're thinking of maybe trading Darnold, which would be insane. Because he's not too far removed from being a top overall pick. But I'm with you on that. They are definitely the winless teams are definitely the strong candidate for that John Starks Award.
John Starks Award. Okay, you're in agreement? Okay, I got award number 2. This one is called the 6-Man Award. And this one goes to the Houston Texans firing their coach and then winning their first game of the season with interim coach Romeo Cornell, the 6-Man Award. If I got fired and then they win a game, I'm so pissed. This is insulting.
You're not going to find much disagreement with me on that, but I'm definitely going to say that also someone for strong consideration was Andy Dalton coming off the bench and being ready to replace Dak Prescott was real huge for the Dallas Cowboys. So my Robert Horry Award is definitely going to go to Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle out of TCU.
Wait, we're still on the 6-Man Award. You're jumping ahead. We haven't done the Robert Horry Award yet.
I'm getting ahead of my notes here. The 6-Man Award. The 6-Man Award goes to Andy Dalton.
Okay, Robert Horry Award.
There you go.
Next award. This is.
I think this is the second week I've done that to you. But go on.
The Robert Horry Award needs no explanation. However, I'm going to explain it anyway. The Robert Horry Award is Performance in the Clutch Award. And that goes, for me, to the Dallas Cowboys receivers. They had 2 huge catches to bail out their QB on that last drive. They helped out their team. They helped out their QB. They were on the sidelines, great hands. Those guys won the game. Robert Horry Award.
I'm going to go with a guy that probably wins this award every week, and it's Russell Wilson. The guy, nothing phases the guy. He's behind, he's trailing, and he just finds a way to win. So I'm definitely going to go with Russell Wilson as far as being clutch.
Well, now you sound like my mother. I got one more award. I struggled with this one, but this one is the LeBron James Award. I had a hard time with this one, but I'm giving this award to live sports in general. Is the LeBron James Award. We had football, we had basketball, baseball heating up. That's the LeBron James Award. The overpowering win at all costs award goes to live sports for me.
I'm going to go with Alex Smith for everything he's been through these last 2 years, to watch him come out, to see how emotional his wife and kids were getting out there in the rain. Not even, and it was so great to see him in the rain, not in an owner's box, nothing like that. They were
of good rain games today. You're right.
Really was. So I'm definitely going to say it was definitely the Alex Smith gets that award.
The LeBron James Award. Okay. Who won the week?
Who won the week? As far the Raiders. How can it not be the Raiders? The Raiders got they got a huge win. And up there with them, the Cleveland Browns going 4-1 for the first time since I think like '94.
That was my other question. Are the Cleveland Browns really 4-1?
Yeah, I mean,
how are they doing this?
And they're finding ways to win. They're winning some ugly games. Their defense steps up. I think they got a safety in the fourth quarter, which really helped them. With those were valuable 2 points at the end of the game, and so I think that the Cleveland Browns are. People need to start taking notice of the Cleveland Browns. I think they're going to make a run of the playoffs. They got to play the Bengals. They got to play the Steelers, the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens were as good. They're not as good this year as they were last year. So look out for the Browns.
I was rereading the Dallas stats, and I think if you're Dallas, you got to feel good that you got the win. You got to feel good that you have a worthy backup, it seems. But then I read this. Andy Dalton took Cincinnati to 5 straight playoff appearances. I don't know if I read that right. Is that true?
And then like a crazy stat, like he's like the all-time leading passer, completions, touchdown passes. That's insane because, they've had Carson Palmer. They had Boomer Esiason, Ken Anderson, if you want to go way back in the day. So that interesting fact out of Andy Dalton.
So you got to feel good that he's your guy under center, at least going to manage things. And Zeke and the O-line stepped it up too. So you got to feel. I wrote down, okay, here's Dallas's remaining schedule. I think they have a bye next week, but then they play Arizona, Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh. Ideally, they could come out of this 3-1, potentially 4-0. Arizona could be a challenge. Pittsburgh could be a challenge.
I like you said, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are going to take it a week at a time. But we'll see what happens, man. What are you thinking about tomorrow's games?
Are we just going to skip over your 49ers?
I'm not talking about the 49ers.
You don't talk about it?
Nope.
What did you do during the time of the game? When the game's out of reach, what do? Do you shut it off? Do you keep it on? Do you like watching them suffer?
I watched another. You know what? It's hard to watch them play because their defense is so hurt by injuries. It was so hard to watch. They're playing with basically practice squad players in their defensive backfield. Terrible to watch. They were just getting burned left and right. It was one of those games where, Ryan Fitzpatrick always has that one game in the regular season where he looks like Johnny Unitas.
True, he does. They got a game plan for that now. Whereas you're like, dude, they blitz a lot. Like Fitzpatrick hasn't had a good game in a while. He's due.
Yeah, and this was that game, but it was hard to watch. And then to bench Jimmy Garoppolo, which I actually agree with, he was completely ineffective.
Oh, that hurt. I hate seeing QBs benched.
It's hard.
I don't know why.
and that's a lot of money to keep on your bench. Okay, that's a lot of money to keep on your bench. So we'll see where
It's gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt.
I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is still the starting quarterback in San Francisco, but it was painful to watch. But anyway, I'm moving on. I'm over it.
All right. I wrote down their remaining schedule, but I'm not even going to read it to you. I don't want to upset you. Okay, Monday night. Oh, I'm changing my who won the week. Practice squad. The practice squad wins the week for me. You never know. If you're on the practice squad, you are so close to making a NFL team roster and getting a big 10-day contract.
Nice.
So practice squad wins the week for me. All right, here's Monday night. We have a Monday night and a Tuesday night.
Yeah, we do.
Monday night, Chargers at Saints. Herbert going against Drew Brees. Young versus old. Good versus not so. I still don't know what to think of the Saints.
Little nugget. It was just reported that Michael Thomas is going to be suspended for tomorrow as he punched a defensive player on his own team during practice this weekend because apparently the DB called him slant boy because that's the only way he gets catches is through Drew Brees' slants.
And his own teammate called him slant boy?
Slant boy.
Slant boy. I'm not familiar with gay slang.
I'm going to say that slant boy may be the best sports insult since Cake Eater from the Mighty Ducks. So definitely, I thought it was definitely a good hit. But they're going to be without him for another week. I actually think the Chargers have a shot to win this game. Obviously, not playing in the loud Superdome, it's very different for the Saints. I would like to see. I'm gonna go with the Chargers in an upset. I want to go Chargers 27. I'm gonna go Saints 17.
Hey, did you catch where Chris Collinsworth says, "Oh, if the Seattle crowd was in this game, that might have questioned the Vikings' decision to go for it." He said that point, and then he was so pleased with that observation. Did you notice he said it like 2 more times?
He did.
You got to think about the crowd, Al. Collins are tagging his own little bits. Chargers Saints. You went Chargers?
I'm going to go Chargers. Upset.
I'm going to go Chargers because Justin Herbert, or is it Hibbert? He's due a win. We need a breakout win from him. So I'm going to go him as well. How bummed are you that QB that he replaced? Who was the guy he replaced?
Tyrod Taylor got punctured by his own team doctor in the
We're seeing a lot of team-on-team crime. We had the one guy get called slant boy, and then the team doctor punctured his own player's lung. The guy comes in and then performs great and then takes his job.
This one's bad. This one's really bad. Tyrod Taylor finally wins another starting job and then loses out to it on injury. So it's not good to be Tyrod Taylor.
There really has to be a support group for these QBs where it's Tyrod Taylor, Drew Bledsoe. Who else got replaced due to injury? And they can just hash it out and smoke cigarettes. Tuesday night, your favorite Bills, your darlings of the seasons, at the Titans. These teams are both 4-0. Is that right?
Yep. No, 3-0. Titans are 3-0 because they didn't play last week.
Oh, okay. 3-0 versus 4-0.
3-0 versus 4-0. I'm going to go Bills. I love Josh Allen. I want to ride him all the way.
You do?
I'm going to ride him and I'm going to ride him to an AFC championship upset over Pat Mahomes this year.
Sticking with Josh Allen. Oh, my God.
I'm sticking with Josh Allen. He's the man. He's the guy.
I think this is the come down to earth week for Josh Allen. They lose, but it's respectable.
Yeah. Then I'm done talking to you right now then.
We disagree. Yeah, I think you're just looking through rose-colored lenses with Josh Allen. You're still in the crush phase of your Josh Allen relationship. By the way, has your relationship changed with Josh Allen?
Oh yeah. I don't even want to say. I don't even want to say.
Where you at? You don't want to say.
I'm not going to reveal those secrets. Those are intimate.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, that's week 5 in the books. Was I going to say something to close it out? No, just that I'm pumped for the Raiders.
How fast this season's going, but it's still a lot of football to be played.
It really has. Football is is churning. October's the best football month. Everybody's still potentially in the race. It's not cold yet. We're talking sports. Kids are in school. October's the best month for sports, no doubt about it.
I like it.
All right, that's week 5. In the books, Omar Carmona. 5. Talk to you later. Thanks, man.
See you later, man.
That is it for the Week 5 Sunday Night Talk NFL edition. Thank you, Omar Carmona, for joining me. As always, bringing your expertise and your thoughts to the show. I want to thank my strong internet connection. I want to thank Zoom. Even though you don't know what you're doing, I still thank you. I want to thank the glorious Las Vegas Raiders for making my day and winning a division game. Hey, I've never been this happy in October. Hey, if you're new to my YouTube channel, check out my other show, Running It Back. Comes out on Thursdays. I talk to a variety of people. We do an interview. We play games. We dive into it. Always something new there. As I found out, a lot of people are liking the Sunday Night Talk, so keep looking for it. Maybe we'll do something more with it, too, with me and Omar. People ask about that guy. Thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy the week. Talk to you soon.